Madera on the beat.
See mommy Nkechi, a rapper don't tell she the kneel for grave where my uche de Papa Emeka. Don't blind from growing, Pekin don't fall, now watch up I'm raw. Me self they shake my hand no feel. Yesterday we laughed, today I just swim more. If we don't stop this night where we they share, tell me who go sing for the ones we know, babe.
Chinedu voice from under the soil. Brother, no let my blood turn to oil. Little Ada they ask where my papa go. Her small hand they shake, she no sabi this woe. I beg my people see this fire we burn. Now our house they blaze, now our future they turn. We go tell their ghosts we no go fail you. If we hold this love, that death go burn you.
No, make we try yo. Back up in the day.
I beg my people see this fire we burn. Now our house they blaze, now our future they turn. We go tell their ghosts we no go fail you. If we hold this love, that death go burn you.
Oh, make we try yo.
Back up joints with a trembling. Oh, hey. If we no join now, our children go so.
This is my wicked word. This is my confusion word. Listen to Biafran. I'm really telling you a story about one lady girl. Polly they go to work. Polly they work for bank. Then I enter for motor. The river they go. The river they go. Opposite Udi. But the rocky hand the side. Along Gusukudu road. I see people run. I see people run. Then I ask the driver. The driver waiting they happen. The driver waiting they happen. The driver tell the body boy. See no day for talk. See no day for talk. If you better you take your eye and see. Then I call the driver. The driver waiting. The driver waiting. This is my wicked word. This is my confusion word. Listen to Biafran. I'm really telling you a story about one lady girl. Polly they go to work. Polly they work for bank. Then I enter for motor. The river they go. The river they go. Opposite Udi. By the rocky hand the side. Along Gusukudu road. I see people run. I see people run.
heaven, the very oldest language on the face of this very earth. Chukwu okike abịa mapụrụ m ihe niile, Chineke na onye ndị nsọ na-efe wee na-akpụ isi ala nye onye anyị na-agọzi aha nsọ ya mgbe niile, onye anyị na-aja mma wee na-eto anyị enweghị iche ọzọ ewezuga gị. Anyị anaghị efe arụsị, ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye kere ihe niile kere eke mana onweghị onye kere ya. Ọ bụ ya mere ndị Igbo ji wee na-etu gị ebighị ebi. Ndị nsọ na-agba oche eze gị okirikiri ha na-akpụ isi ala nye gị, ọbụladị ndị okenye oru 2 na 4 bụ ndị na-atụ mkpọ ọla edo na ala, ha niile si na-ede nsọ Chineke nna nke igwe. N'ụtụtụ a, ehihie, abalị, n'ụwa niile bụ ebe ụmụ gị gbasasịrị ka ụkpaka nna nke ebere dị ngọzi ka anyị na-akpọkọta ha eze ebube onye ime eluigwe wee na-arịọ gị ma mma gị na ebere gị, amara gị na ọmịiko gị ebe ndị gị nọ. Anyị wee na-arịọ ka iru gị wee chaa n'ebe anyị nọ. Anyị wee na-arịọ gị eze ebube dị ngọzi ka igwe tinye ọgbaghara n'etiti ndị iro, ka ha rabụ ndị kụziri ka ha wee megide anyị, onye nwe m na Chineke nna dị nsọ, ka aka nsị ndị dị etu a wee baa ha ọnụ, ije obodo ekwensu bụ zuu wee laa ya n'iyi. Anyị wee na-arịọ gị, onye na-adịgide ma ruo mgbe ebighị ebi, biko nụ ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee bịa ọsọ ọsọ nna nke ebere na ụmụ gị atakwala n'ahụhụ. Anyị wee na-arịọ gị ka iwe na anyị ezi echiche na amamihe, mmekọrịta nwanne na nwanne, ịdị n'otu ọganiru, ịhụnanya nke pụrụ iche onye nwe m na Chineke nna, ka iwe etinye ụmụ gị ezi mmụọ nke eziokwu ma wezuga anyị aka ajọ ihe n'ime ndụ anyị nna nke ebere dị ngọzi. Ka ọ ga-abụ na ikpeta mazị na Biafra ga-abịa, anyị ga-aja gị mma wee too gị wee gọzie aha nsọ gị, kpee isi ala nye gị, bulie aha nsọ gị elu site n'ebighị ebi mara onye ebighị ka a na-arịọ gị. Ise ise ise. This very morning, all of you, I believe that those who are watching know who we are and why we do what we do. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra all over this very planet Earth, the director of Radio Biafra and Biafra Television, and by the very special grace of the Most High Elohim, Chukwu Kikabia Mapurumi Henine, servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. We are live and we are direct this very morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are. And we start this very day by making it abundantly clear that the greatest enemy of a black man is the way that we reason. If not that the way we reason is very, very abhorrent, there is no need or reason why we should be suffering and complaining every blessed day without the courage to do something about it. For their eternal habitation. We may have failed in the past to recognize this very fact, but now that this generation has come, there is nothing anybody can do to stop us from restoring the kingdom of God upon the face of this very earth in the land of Biafra, without apologies to anybody. The Fulani approach to the zoo called Nigeria is called the devil's alternative. Fulani, they have this two-pronged approach to the issue of one Nigeria. If they collapse you through banditry, they will overrun you because they believe they have superior weaponry. Right now, and all of them are in this game together. That's number one. If you sue for peace, which idiots like Omahi are doing, if you sue for peace, they will also get what they're looking for because they will plant Ruga in every local government area. The devil's alternative, whichever option you choose, men are going to die. Men will die. It doesn't matter the option you choose. If you wait for them to do things peacefully, which they'll never do, they're going to kill you anyway because they'll be Ruga. And you allow them to forcibly take over your land, you are taken over, they will take it by force. And Fulani will plant their people in your local government areas. That in the next 100 years, you'll be hearing about Olo Emirates. And then we'll be like Hausa people. Our great-grandchildren will now ask their parents, what happened? They will tell you, oh no, there was somebody called Hope Uzodinma. He was playing politics. He loved Nigeria. There was one called Umahi. He loves Fulani. He used to wear a brother. But then we are gone. As a race, we are finished. And I said to these fools, Fulani Caliphate is dealing with you people, but you don't know it. They are like the vulture. Nigeria is pregnant. If Nigeria dies during the pregnancy, they benefit. Nigeria gives birth to their Ruga, which they want, a new Nigeria, which they want, is also to their benefit. The only people aiding and abetting them are these quislings, the fulefus from the East, intellectuals, and sophisticated morons from the West. Negotiated restructuring. What happened? They came back and they said, no, Ojukwu said, okay, so you want to continue to kill my people all over the place? No, because of that, I'll declare Biafra. Today, they have brainwashed all of you with the perverse notion and thinking that somehow Ojukwu is responsible for causing a war, when opposite is the case. That Gowon was the aggressor, not Ojukwu. That's how Nigeria is. Always blaming the victim. And we lost over 5 million people during that very genocidal war. They killed over 5 million Biafrans. They wanted to wipe us away from the face of this very earth. But we survived it. And we are here today. Those they gave birth to, they have come. And this time with a wrath that you cannot even begin to imagine. And
what we are pursuing is a part of pressure, relentless pressure, to ensure that Biafra comes. How are we going to employ that pressure? There are only two ways to get your freedom in the history of the whole world. Freedom can be gotten only two ways. One is through the ballot box. In other words, people will contest and they will have Biafra Nationalist Party. Yes, as they have in Scotland. And then we vote for them. When they then go to the house or maybe go to Abuja, they will say, we are here under the mandate of Biafra Nationalist Party. Because of that, we want to go and conduct a referendum in order for us to be free. The other way, you fight. Either you go to the ballot box or you fight. Which option are we choosing? We have chosen to fight.
Kingdom by declaration. Today, they are the world power. In 1830, Belgium separated from Netherlands. Today, they are one of the most powerful countries in Europe, both of the countries. In 1965, Singapore separated from Malaysia. Today, they have transformed into global financial hub as a result of the separation. Why is it that when we call for separation, Nigeria and their criminals will be calling us terrorists? Don't fall for it. The past separation has led to the upsurge of economic development in the case of India and Pakistan, Norway, Denmark, Switzerland. Each of these separation has led to the upsurge of economic and development. In 2002, East Timor separated from Indonesia. In 1921, Ireland separated from the United Kingdom. Today, they are one of the powerful countries we have. In 1944, Iceland separated from Denmark, demonstrating that nations can part away without violence. Why do you kill Biafrans? Whenever we say we are fed up of Nigeria. In Nigeria, where you have dangerous diversity, in Nigeria, where you have the northern part of Nigeria practicing Islamic State, practicing Islamic Sharia law, and they have different culture, different laws, different rules, different everything. And with that kind of mentality and setup, we can never develop as a nation. That is the reason we call for the separate state, and of course for independent state for Biafra. Apart from the killings, genocide against our people, and jihad. In 1905, Norway and Sweden separated and goes their separate ways. Today, they are one of the most powerful countries in Europe because of the separation. In 1947, India and Pakistan separated. The list can go on and on and on.
Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you for joining us on today's program. We came very late today because of certain issues, but I can't help it, but still have to come online. But I'm not going to spend much time today. We are not going to talk too much today. We just got to do what we have to do. and allow anybody that wants to make a contribution to join us and make a contribution. I'm not going to be spending much time on the program. We've come very, very late, so our time is shortened, and also some other things that will make me to cut the program short. So I appreciate everybody who have joined us. I appreciate people who has been able to connect, like and share on your platform, like and share to family and friends. Remember, as we always say, that in our platform, we do not instigate violence, we don't preach hate, we don't attack people or individuals. We do not come here to promote propaganda or blackmail. What we do in this platform is to present Biafra to the world as a remedy, and we will continue to do that. So we have come today to speak on a certain issue, more especially an issue that has to do with our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. And in the topic I chose today, it reads, why the global conspiracy, why the double standard? All he demanded was the freedom of his people. You see, in all this noise we are making, sometimes we forget about our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa's effort and the suffering he's going through in the hand of the enemies. And if you care about humanity and you are a very sensible person, the suffering of Mazi Simon Ekpa is one of the things that will make you to hold your peace, hold your anger, hold your quest for destruction, to focus on what matters and ignore those that are not, doesn't matter. When you remember the sacrifice that people have made, it calls for attention. Today we can see all that is happening. If you can remember when our Prime Minister was here, this was a man that made sure that the legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu stand. Made sure that the legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not forgotten. But today, in his absence, some of us are doing everything possible to make sure that he is not remembered, to make sure that we destroy his own legacy. Even when we pray, and even when we confess and say we love him, we like him, we love Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, we are in one way or the other destroying their legacy. These are people who has fought for us in several ways, made several commitments, sacrificed everything that is on their part. They gave up everything that is dear to their heart, and they continue to call for the Biafran people to be free. But it is sad that today most of us are forgetting so soon. Some of us are forgetting so soon. Just 8 months of the absence of our Prime Minister, so many of us don't even remember him anymore. Sometimes we come online, we make noise, we shout, we talk, and we forget the person who was able to hold up the candle when all hope was lost. After the kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, many people in this struggle ran away. So many people did not know where to go, either left or right. But the strength of Mazi Simon Ekpa and his effort encouraged so many of us to continue to ride on. It doesn't matter whether you hate him or you like him. You might not like the way he does, the way he did what he did. You might not like his own system of governance, but the truth remains that his style of leadership was what made it possible that the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was not rubbished. You can imagine a man who made everything possible to maintain the pressure. Even when the government tried to tag Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with the activities that was going outside, he made it clear that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has nothing to do with anything that is happening presently, just to make sure that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is not tagged into what was going on. Just to make sure that the government of Nigeria will not see anything to tag to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. They will not tag the reaction of the Biafrans to Mazen Nnamdi Kanu while he is inside. Mazen Simon Ekpa established that boundary. On several broadcasts, he made it clear that we will not take orders, and we are not taking orders from the DSS, where Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is. Even when they try to blackmail him to bring information, to bring letters that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu said, he stood his ground and said that it is our responsibility to do everything we will do to free Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, not the other way around. He made it clear that somebody that is in captivity can accept any condition, can accept anything to be free. When somebody is in captivity, that person is also a human being. No matter how tough, no matter how strong you are, a human being will always be a human being. We have seen it on several occasions. Even Christ himself, for those of us who are Christian, Christ, who was seen as Lord and Savior, who was seen as God himself, at a point in time, even though he knew why he came to save humanity, he began to ask that the cup should be removed from him. He began to ask that that responsibility should be taken away from him while he was praying. Even though he knows that if that responsibility is taken away, that means his purpose of coming is in vain. But because of the human flesh he was wearing, he made that demand. So if Christ himself who made that demand, he wonder what a human being, ordinary human being like us can do. So Master Simon Ekpa made it possible for every one of us to continue to hold our ground, fight for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and make sure he is not forgotten. And he has not been forgotten up to this day. But unfortunately, the world conspired. Nigeria conspired through the British and Finland. And after their conspiracy, they were able to take Mazen Simon Ekpa away from us illegally. I do not understand the kind of laws that they use to judge Mazen Simon Ekpa. I do not understand the laws of Finland or what prompted them to take that action of even detaining him before providing an evidence to what he has done. And after 6 months or so, they brought him to their court. We had the case, everything was said and discussed, only for them to tell us that September, up to 3 months before they are going to pass their judgment. And at the same time, they refuse him a bail. So it's been for 8-9 months now. Our Prime Minister, Mazen Simon Ekpa, has been in detention in the hand of Finland government for committing no crime. He was detained unjustly, and there is nothing you can tell me to believe that he committed any crime. Mazen Simon Ekpa Njoko was only fighting and asking for the freedom of his people. He was only trying to save his own people from the hand of the Janjaweed, who have decided to destroy the life of his people. Mazen Simon Ekpa only was out there calling for the freedom of his own people. That is the only crime he committed. Mazen Simon Ekpa came out and he said, enough is enough. That the genocide in Biafra land cannot continue. And as if that was not enough, before he said that, he made it clear to the whole world. He made broadcasts for so many years, explaining to the world what is happening in Nigeria. He made the broadcasts for years, bringing to the light what is happening in Nigeria. Not just to the world, he also went further to inform the Finnish authorities of what is going on in Nigeria. And he told them his intentions. There was nothing Master Simon Ekpa did in secret. With all the experience he had in Finland, served in their government, served in their armed forces, being a lawyer, he read international law. He brought his expertise into this very struggle to make sure that the Biafran people are free. Nigerian government tried everything they can to take him down. They approached many governments of the world to help them to clamp on Master Simon Ekpa. We knew when they approached France, we know when they approached Germany, and all was in futility. In most cases, they told him to go and negotiate with him. But it came to a time when they found their way into the government of Finland because a corrupt mind is in charge. And that is how it is always. Once an evil man is in charge, things will begin to happen in a different form. But once the righteous man is in charge, people will glory. When you look at what transpired in the case of Master Simon Ekpa from day one, you will understand that the witch hunting is not a small one. If all of us could remember the very first time Nigeria made the move to take down our Prime Minister, Master Simon Ekpa, then the Finland ambassador in Nigeria told them that Master Simon Ekpa has his right of speech. He has his right of expression. That they have not seen him done anything wrong. And only for us to wake up and hear that that woman was removed. Now they brought someone else who said that the business deals between Finland and Nigeria is much more important than human rights and human life. They brought out an ambassador whose mission is to make sure that they grow the economy of Finland, even if it's at the expense of taking human life, abusing human rights, and destroying the image they have. And before our own very eyes, an ambassador came and said that Master Simon Ekpa is standing between them and Nigeria, is standing against their bilateral relationship with Nigeria. And I ask how? How is Master Simon Ekpa standing against your bilateral relationship with a terrorist country, Nigeria? What is that wrong that Master Simon Ekpa has done? We have several video evidence where Simon Ekpa went on conference, where he went to brief the government of Finland on the situation in Nigeria on several occasions, and they never took any action. And people continue to die in Biafra land. Extrajudicial killing continue to happen in Biafra land. And when we say these things, people who are not paying attention to the issue of Nigeria will think that maybe there are some people who come online and say whatever they don't know. There are proven evidence to back up every single thing we are saying. One of those is a report of the Amnesty International. The report of Amnesty International in Nigeria, not today, from the onset, has always been a negative one. The human rights status of Nigeria is zero. Nigeria has been involved in kidnapping not once, not twice, and they are not going to stop. Human rights abuse in Nigeria, extrajudicial killing and disappearance of Biafrans is happening every single day before the eyes of the world. Amnesty International have reported about it on several occasions. But those who are jumping from pillar to pole, preaching human rights and preaching rights for everybody, are the ones who are engaged in one business or the other with that country that abuses the rights of its citizens. The situation of Biafra is not a hidden one. Everyone knows the situation of Biafran people. All the cry we are crying and complaints we are complaining, they are not something new. These are something that are before the whole world. But for one reason or the other, they have ignored us. And every country in this world have focused on their own selfish economic growth. And in that selfish economic growth, they're all looking for where they are going to get resources. At the same time, they are ready to sacrifice anything sacrificable to get the resources. That is how the West operates. You see, when we are talking about the issue of Biafra and how to get Biafra, and we tell you, you must have to commit everything in your hand to make it come true. When you hear Mazen Man, they're going to say, I will sacrifice everything sacrificable to see that Biafra is a reality. That is the way to go about it. Not just him. Every Western country is ready to put everything in line to put their country forward. You saw when Donald Trump came up, he said, America first. And his America first is not a joke. He doesn't care what you think or how you feel. All he knows is that anything that favors his own country, he's going to do it. And it's left for you to also do what favors your country. If for one reason or the other you fail to do what favors your country, out of fear, out of ignorance, out of stupidity, you face the consequence. The global conspiracy against the Biafran people is unimaginable. It cannot be overemphasized. And it is written everywhere. The conspiracy against the Biafran. More especially the Igbo Biafrans. We have seen several crimes against us. A crime that you dare not commit to against any other tribe in this world, and the world will be silent. We have finally come to see that crimes against the Biafrans does not amount to crime. Human rights abuse against the Biafrans does not amount to human rights abuse. Genocide against the Biafran people does not amount to genocide. And there are facts to prove what I'm saying. It is not just a mere accusation. If not, there is no way the atrocities committed in Biafra land from 1967 to 1970 will not be tagged a genocide by now. Not even a reminder. Those who committed the crime are still being celebrated. None of them is being held accountable. Yet you have ICC, International Criminal Court, that claim that they are standing for the just. That claim that they are bringing justice to the world. Yet this ICC is there. They have touched on so many cases that are worse, that are even mild, that are not up to what transpired in Biafra land. But yet, nobody is speaking about it. Even when we decide to remember our heroes, on that same Remembrance Day, they come against us. And people lose their life. And now that we have come to demand and say we want to be on our own, we first of all continue to call for referendum. We call for referendum for so many years. Referendum, as you all know, is the most peaceful way to settle issues, to take decisions. You do not need to have referendum in your constitution to apply it. That is, you don't need to have referendum in your constitution to apply it. This is a natural law that has to be applied to get things right. The most peaceful way to settle issues. And by the way, that same contraption that is claiming they do not have referendum in their constitution have practiced it in several occasions. They have implied it. They have applied referendum in creation of so many things in their states. They also apply it in their house when they are holding their sittings. And in that same zoological republic, they understand that there is something called the law of necessity. So, giving the excuse that referendum is not in their constitution is not an excuse. But yet, they rejected it all. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu spoke for so many years until he decided to take the bull by the horn. It got to the extent that when he began to make a case for Biafra, even up to the United Nations, nobody was paying attention. All they were telling him is to go and begin to do something. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu enumerated to them what transpired in Biafra war and what has continued to happen in Biafra land, what we have gone through and what have passed through in video evidence, picture evidence, audio evidence. Yet they told Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it is true we fought a war from 1967 to 1970. That we know. But why did you stop? They were asking him, why did you stop? Now you understand that these people are not going to come to your rescue until you do something. These are what everyone has seen, including our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa, and he took the bold step. Just like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did, Mazi Simon Ekpa also came out and began to speak to the world, begin to attend so many talk shows, begin to speak to governments of the world. And he was not just speaking, he was also making sure that self-defense is activated in the homeland to protect the life of the people. The involvement of Nigerian government in disappearance, kidnapping, and extrajudicial killing of Biafrans is not something that we talk about or exaggerate. There are facts on that. Go to Amnesty International platform, type on the issue of Biafra, on how Nigeria treats the Biafran people. You are going to see the report. They are all there. That has not stopped. It has continued up to this moment as we speak. But instead of them weighing in to either sanction Nigeria or call their attention to let these people go, they continue to fight against those who have brought themselves out to speak up for the freedom of Biafran people. Talking about Biafra has become a crime. When you discuss Biafra online, you are being treated differently. Even the social media networks handle your programs differently. When you speak about Biafra in offices, some offices will not even attend to you. They won't pay attention. At a point in time, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, whenever you go to the United Nations and mention Biafra, once the topic comes out, people begin to go away. Why is this so? It is because every single one of them that call themselves the world powers has interest in Nigeria. They are part of the looting and starvation, looting and criminal activity that is happening in that contraption called Nigeria. That is simply what it means. And we have seen on several videos that have been released alleging how these very countries are involved in activities in Nigeria. We know the evil and the atrocities of Shell in Nigeria. We know what the ExxonMobil is doing. And so many other oil companies that are in Nigeria, owned by the French, by the United Kingdom, by the United States. And they don't want to let go. And these are the people that are making sure that even though that area is the richest place you can talk about, if not in the world, in Africa, yet they cannot be able to manage themselves. They continue to tell lies to the people through the selected leaders. And this is one thing we will not accept. This is what Mazi Simon Ekpa saw, and he took the bull by the horn and continued to call out the government of Nigeria. Instead of paying attention or listening, Finland sold their conscience and betrayed Master Simon Ekpa. And they brought us where we are today. And after that betrayal, it is sad that today, that same country that took away a freedom fighter is in the front line of making noise and saying that they want to recognize another country that is fighting for their freedom. You want to recognize a country that is fighting for their freedom, and you detain somebody who is fighting for the freedom of his own people. Not just somebody. We are talking about somebody who the people have chosen to speak to them on the capacity of a prime minister. The number of people that elected Master Simon Ekpa as a prime minister is greater than the number of people that elected Alex Stop. Biafrans are more than 80 million in number. And in the self-referendum, more than 50 million people voted. How many are Finland in population? So you can see that even Master Simon Ekpa as a prime minister has more legitimacy than Finland. More number of people voted for him than more people that voted for Alex Stop. And how can you tell me that more than 80 million people are not enough to make a country? By the way, Biafra has been on its own before the British came and began to merge everybody together. Begin to force people to be where they are not supposed to be. And we will not accept that. It does not matter how they try to do it. It doesn't matter their propaganda and their blackmail. We will never accept that manipulation. And that is why we are speaking loudly, because we still believe there are still people who have conscience on this planet Earth. There are still men of conscience. I believe so. There are still men of conscience in the United States, in the United Kingdom, in Germany, in France. There are still people who has conscience in them. Every one of them that care about humanity should begin to speak up about the situation of Biafra. You can imagine in a time where it is very clear where the government of Nigeria stands and what they are doing. A Canadian court came out for the very first time to tell us that the ruling parties in Nigeria are terrorist organizations. What you expect to happen after saying this is the sanctions coming from right, left, and center. But instead of sanctions, we are still seeing countries like the United States going into deals with Nigeria. What a sad thing to see. Everyone that is concerned outside the world there should speak to the Finland authorities to let Master Simon Ekpa go. Because those that gave them information upon which they are capitalizing on detaining Master Simon Ekpa are terrorists. I don't know why you use the information from a terrorist to prosecute a legitimate citizen of your country. There's an information that on the 18-19, that's today and tomorrow, Minister of Foreign Affairs Maria Stingard is traveling to Nuusio in Finland to take part in meeting of Nordic foreign ministers. And we encourage the Canadian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Anita Anand, to also present the issue of Nigeria there and speak to them. And remind them that Nigeria is a terrorist country and no sensible country should work with them. Because we know the Canadian Minister of Foreign Affairs will also participate in that meeting. But as you can see, the global conspiracy, when it comes to Africans, things are done differently. even when they know the truth, because it does not serve their own purpose. They will not speak about it. And we ask, will the Canadian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Anita Anand, inform Elena Valtona, the Finnish foreign minister, that her country collaborated with a known terrorist state, Nigeria, to abduct and incarcerate Prime Minister Simon Ekpa? Will she be able to do that? You are going into a meeting. Use that good office and tell the Finnish authorities to let go Mazi Simon Ekpa because he's an innocent man. I don't see how a sensible country could rely on information coming from a terrorist. I don't know how you can prosecute a citizen of a country, somebody who has served on the highest level, on different levels in Finland, yet you are detaining him based on information given to you by a terrorist group. Canada has officially ruled Nigeria a terrorist state. That is what it means by that report you saw. A court of that level declaring the two ruling party in Nigeria, a court declared them terrorist organization. It speaks volume. It means that Canada has officially ruled Nigeria a terrorist state. It is therefore a matter of grave concern that Finland, a European Union member, joined with the state-sponsored terrorism to target and incarcerate the Prime Minister of the United States of Biafra citizen in Finland. And that is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And the world must not keep silent. The world must not keep silent. Because the evidence upon which Mazi Simon was taken away from us is false information gotten from a terrorist group. How can anybody continue to believe such information? And I love some of the write-up that was put up on the platform of the United States of Biafra. We will continue to speak and we will continue to air our opinion that Mazi Simon Ekpa was released with immediate effect. They are telling us September. September is here. Today is 19th. The continuous incarceration of Mazi Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of the United States of Biafra, is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It is deeply contradictory for Finland to speak about prioritizing humanitarian aid while at the same time cooperating with regime that creates the very crisis driving humanitarian needs by working with Nigeria, a state actively responsible for the persecution, killing, and starvation of Biafrans. Finland is not merely complicit, but is directly helping sustain the condition that forces millions into humanitarian dependence. This is absolute truth. How can you be preaching against displacement of people? How can you be preaching against starvation? At the same time, you are supporting a government that is starving people. You are supporting a government that is causing humanitarian crisis. A terrorist government, well known. How does that add up? How can Finland claim legitimacy in the global humanitarian discourse when it facilitates policies that destroy lives and then turn around to posture as a provider of relief? Wherever there is crisis, they go there, they say they want to send relief. Meanwhile, you are detaining a man that is standing against starvation. A man that is fighting against humanitarian crisis in Biafra land. Okay, you are waiting for the time when Biafrans will go to IDP camp, then they will call you to come and provide humanitarian aid. And then you will come and claim to be a provider. The double standard that we must not accept. Real humanitarianism begins with preventing atrocities. Exactly, prevention, not enabling them. The best humanitarian aid you can give is to prevent that calamity from coming. That is excellent, excellently written. Real humanitarianism begins with preventing atrocities, not enabling them, until Finland stopped aligning itself with governments that commit crime against people like the Biafrans. Its voice in humanitarian aid will remain hollow and hypocritical. That's exactly what it is. A very strong hypocrite, that's what they are. And we don't miss word in that. Incarceration of Simon Ekpa. Any arrest conducted without due process, devoid of legal legitimacy, marked by procedural irregularities, facilitated through official complicity, and in contravention of established human rights principles, cannot be regarded as lawful. Rather, it constitutes an act of abduction, effectively a kidnapping under international law. So, in other words, the continued detention of Master Simon Ekpa is also a kidnap. That is how we, the Biafrans, see it. You kidnapped our president, and we cannot keep silent. You kidnapped the president of a state. A prime minister that was elected by more than 50 million people, you take him away. And you feel that we'll keep silent and clap for you. No, it's not going to happen. After committing this crime, in the other way around, you come around and you are saying different things altogether. You are going all around preaching about humanitarian help, humanitarian support, giving humanitarian support, going to Palestine or wherever to go and talk about recognizing them. Meanwhile, in a place where the main humanity is supposed to be looked into to prevent it from happening, you are the one fostering it to make it happen. Only waiting for the Biafrans to face another genocide, then you will come and provide aid. That is what you are waiting for, and nothing else. It is deeply contradictory for Finland to speak about prioritizing humanitarian aids, while at the same time cooperating with the regime that creates the very crime driving humanitarian needs by working with Nigeria, a state actively responsible for the persecution, killing, starvation of Biafrans. Finland is not merely complicit, but is directly helping sustain the conditions that force millions into humanitarian dependency. And that is exactly what they are waiting for. Finland is waiting for us to go to camps where they will come and claim that they are giving us humanitarian aid. If not, why then will they continue to detain our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa? After the Canadian court have already told them that these people, let's assume they don't know before, because I believe every single information that the Canadian authorities have, that judge have, Finland have more. Finland have more information than that Canadian judge had. Because I'm very, very aware of the load of information that Master Simon have delivered to them on camera and off camera, which every one of us saw. For Finland to turn around and continue to detain our Prime Minister Master Simon is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. And that makes them complicit in terrorist activities. Because when you sponsor and aid terrorism in one way or the other, you are a terrorist. And Finland cannot escape this. And one of the Tosong fans there said, somebody who wrote and said, the entire Africa continent agree with the Canadian Federal Court, the APC political party, the ruling party in Nigeria, under the leadership of the criminal President Bola Tinubu, is a terrorist organization. Every African country agrees with that judgment. Nobody questioned it. Nobody. Nobody questioned that. We all agree with it, and it is true. We all agree with it. There is no doubt whatsoever that Nigeria is a terrorist country. You know, when we say it all this while, people will think, oh, they are talking online, they are making a talk. No. This time it has been said by a foreign body. You know, most of you Africans, you always respect what a white man says. When a fellow black person gives information, you don't abide to it, neither will you listen to it until when a white man comes to confirm it. Thank God they have confirmed it. The continued detention of Prime Minister Simon Ekpa and Joko signal a global crisis, one that demands a serious re-evaluation of international relations and the very norms that govern them. The world now stands at a crossroad where a state like Finland openly disregards its own constitution on human rights, along with established international norms, laws, treaties, principles, and common values. When norms and due process are trampled upon, the oppressed are steamed into awareness, those who have long endured systemic tyranny, blatant violation of human dignity, and the deliberate imposition of artificial belief designed to manipulate human consciousness. Such actions inevitably awaken resistance. The end goal of fear and systemic controls laid bare. The abduction of a foreign head of state, legitimately present in Finland, and also a Finnish national, constitute not only a grave violation, but an act of international sabotage, such as abuse, demand accountability at the highest level up to and including the resignation of those responsible. Of course, but because he's a Biafran, because he's a black person from a black country and a Biafran, nothing is going to be done. That is why I say that they have already made up their mind that any crime against the Biafran people does not amount to a crime. Crime against Biafran does not amount to a crime. This we have continued to see again and again, and it is unacceptable. We demand the unconditional release of our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, wherever he is. We cannot continue to keep silent. He has not committed any crime. All he was saying is, let my people go. All he was saying is, let my people go. Master Simon Ekpa was only saying, let my people go. He has not committed any crime against anybody. He was not. Master Simon Ekpa was only protecting his own land. Master Simon Ekpa was only doing the needful. Was only making sure that the loss of life in Biafra land stops. And we have seen it. Since after the kidnapping of Master Simon Ekpa, you can now see what is happening in Biafra land. The attack from the terrorists, in uniform and off uniform have increased to the highest level. The attack has increased. Attack of the terrorists have increased. And there is nothing anybody can do about that. Just like the detention of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Each time they take away the leaders of Biafra, the problem doubles and their calamity increases. Biafrans are not the problem of Nigeria. The Biafran people are not the problem of Nigeria. Nigeria has a foundational problem. And for you to solve that foundational problem, you need to destroy the old foundation and lay a new foundation. That is what the Biafran people are trying to do. Take out the old foundation and lay a new foundation. Once the foundation is faulty, there is nothing the righteous can do. It is very clear. It does not matter the system you bring into Nigeria. It doesn't matter who is in charge. It doesn't matter who you hand it over to. As long as the person continues to work under that name called the Zoological Republic Nigeria, it will never succeed. It will never succeed. The Biafran people have looked through it right, left, and center, and we are profiling solution, a lasting solution. And that has been the job of the Biafran from day one in that contraption called Nigeria. From the onset, their job has always been to provide solution. But unfortunately, each time we provide a solution, it bounces on it comes back on us in a very bad way. Each time Biafran people make a move to save Nigeria, it falls back on us in a very bad way. Loss of life, genocide, attacks, hatred. Several times moves have been made to save Nigeria and make it a country by Biafrans. There is no other region in Nigeria that's interested in saving that zoo. The only people that have been interested in saving the zoo and making it a country from day one are the Biafran people. Up to this day, they are the only people who are trying to make that contraption a country, but it never works. That was why we come to the conclusion that it is only laying a new foundation that is going to save everybody. The Biafran has made a move, the revolution. During the time of Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogwu, Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogwu led a revolution to make Nigeria a better place. It was not a revolution to create Biafra. The revolution of Chukwuma Kaduna Nzogwu was to create a better Nigeria. In fact, to install a Yoruba man as the leader of the country. But what transpired? They turned it around and they branded it Igbo coup. They branded it Igbo coup. In the process, many Igbos lost their life. Many Igbos, civilians, people who has nothing to do with the revolution. The pogrom continued until Dim Odumegwu said enough is enough. And Dim Odumegwu took a major step. That major step he took was not to create Biafra, was not to divide Nigeria, but to make sure that people of the same value are on their own side to run their own affairs under Nigeria, which is the restructuring they are talking about today. Dim Odumegwu came out with another solution, a solution. Remember, Chukwuma Nzogwu went there for a revolution and he brought pogrom. Many people lost their life. And tagged Igbos, the plotters of a coup. Dim Odumegwu came in again, provided a solution to save Nigeria. The solution of Dim Odumegwu was not to create a country, to save Nigeria. They went all the way to Abuja and they agreed on restructuring. They agreed on restructuring. After the agreement on restructuring, what transpired? Gowon came back and rejected every single agreement and went back in it and began to do something different. And Ojukwu said, no, this is not what we agreed on. Ojukwu said, in Aburi, we stand. Because agreement is agreement. Every responsible gentleman should respect agreement. And what did Gowon do? Gowon went and called for police action. The next, they brought war to Biafra land. They brought war to Biafran people. We didn't go there to fight them. They brought war to Biafra land. And Biafrans were only defending themselves for 3 good years. An attempt to save Nigeria. He brought war. As if that's not enough, even on the time of our Supreme Leader Nnamdi Kanu, he also gave them that opportunity. After he was arrested in 2015, he had a meeting with the governors and he told them what he wanted. He gave them an idea of how to follow up, to put this in place. Instead of following up with those demands, what did they do? Another death. Python dance. Many Biafrans lost their life. Many Biafrans lost their life in Python dance. Maazin Nandekano lost his two parents in that very tragedy. They were buried the same day. You see, another step to save Nigeria brought death and calamity. Maazin Nandekano is still incarcerated in Nigeria today because of that same step. He came to Master Simon Ekpa. He has learned from so many people. He has learned from the very first revolution. He has learned from Dim Odumojugu and then from Maazin Nandekano, and he said, no, this time around we have to go global. We have to take the bull by the horn to secure our lives, and we must defend ourselves. That we will not only be talking and asking, we have to defend ourselves. And he went into action to do what he has to do to save his people. In the process, Master Simon Ekpa was succeeding. It was a very successful one. And he made it clear, 5 good years, he made it clear. There is no way he will fight for 5 years without giving a face to Biafra. He made it clear that within 5 years, there's no how he will fight for Biafra within 5 years with nothing to show. And every one of us saw it. Within that space of time, we saw Biafra in our hand. Biafra was declared. Even though they attacked him on the last month to take him away by fire, by force, Biafra was declared. And today, Finland is the instrument they are using to keep him away from continuing the job that he started, from rounding up the job which he started, and to win recognition and defending of our land. The Prime Minister of the United States of Biafra, Simon Ekpa, was taken away and detained by Finland authorities, which is a crime against humanity, with an information given to them by a terrorist country. Who does that? That is unacceptable, and we will never, ever accept such. So wherever you are watching this program from, I urge you in the name of Chukwu Kabiam, continue to add your voice and pray for our leader, Maazị Simon Ekpa Njoko, that by next month, he will join us. Whatever the enemy is planning against him, whatever plan or strategy they are placing against him, it will never stand. Do not forget to pray for him. He has paid a very heavy price. He put everything on the line, including his life. He put his career on the line. And today, some of us are forgetting his effort. Some of us are already pushing him on the background. Some of us already today are ignoring him. Some of us are already moving on, forgetting that there is somebody that laid this foundation upon which you are building now. It is very sad. But I bet you, wherever you are, remember, the challenge is that we will do everything possible. That was what Maazị Nandekano said. Everything humanly possible to restore Biafra. That time has come. It is easier said than done. Many of us repeat that word. Everything humanly possible. But when it comes to action, they disappear. That was the direct message of our Supreme Maazị Nandekano. He said, everything possible. He never spared anything. When they asked him, how do you intend to achieve the freedom of Biafra? In an interview, he did not hesitate in putting the word very, very clear to the whole world. Every one of us saw the video in his speech. He made it very clear to the whole world that he will do everything humanly possible, everything, that he's not going to spare anything. And Master Simon Ekpa keyed into that message and also said everything. You, what is your own faith? Let us hear it once again.
Understand that the liberation of Biafra has entered the highest stage in the history of Biafra. Not even during the war. I am telling you, it has entered the highest stage ever. And we are going to do everything humanly possible in this life to restore Biafra. Everything humanly possible will be done. And I want you people to understand that the Biafra liberation is step by step, segment by segment, plan by plan, executions by execution. We'll be executing those plans according to the template till the last one. And Biafra.
Let us go talk about the objective of your struggle and how do you intend to achieve it in practical terms?
In practical terms, it is civil disobedience. The same way that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. accomplished civil rights in America, the same way that Mahatma Gandhi led India to independence out of British colonial rule, the same principles we are applying, and might I add, very successfully too. We will do everything possible to unravel and unshackle the zoo called Nigeria. Everything humanly possible. No stone will be left unturned. We will sacrifice everything sacrificable. Material, life, blood will throw into.
And we will do everything humanly possible to see the Biafra exit.
Did you hear that? Everything humanly possible. And both of them have done everything humanly possible for the restoration of Biafra. And they are still doing. What about you? What about you that is watching this program? What have you done to see that Biafra is restored? What about you that is watching? Are you still busy gossiping? Is it the gossip that will make you to walk away? Is it the propaganda that will make you to walk away? Are you still focused on abusing people, triggering people? There are some of us in this struggle today. Their own job is to trigger people. They will come to your platform to trigger you, to make you get angry and say you are no longer interested. Sometimes you will be discussing a topic. Somebody will come from nowhere and begin to say something different, entirely different from what you are saying, just to trigger you. Some will bring false accusation against you unnecessarily. Is that how you are doing everything to restore Biafra? You that is on the comment section, you that is watching us wherever you are watching, is that how you are doing everything humanly possible to restore? Are you doing everything to stop Biafra or everything to restore Biafra? That is the question. Are you doing everything to restore Biafra or you are doing everything to stop Biafra? I think this is going to be our next topic. Wherever you are watching this program from, I want you to remember that somebody has fought and brought us this far. Somebody has fought to bring us this far, where we are today. You must never forget that. You must never ignore that. You always have to remember that and let that continue to ring a bell in your ears. And you must have to continue to demand for his unconditional release. Master Simon Ekpa has not committed any crime anywhere. All he's saying that we are Biafrans and we are not Nigerians. It is you that will choose who you are and tell the world whom you are, not the other way around.
every one of you to remember these 3 words. Nigerians, we are no more. Southeasterners and Southerners, we cannot become. And Biafrans, we must be.
Always have that at the back of your mind. It is easier said than done. But those who gave this statement are working towards that. And it has cost them a lot. We must continue to demand for the unconditional release of our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, by the Finnish authority, and continue to call the Finnish authority out. For the Finland authorities to be working with a terrorist government makes them accomplices, and they are nothing but gradually becoming a terrorist country. The only way they can vindicate themselves is to take themselves away from working with a terrorist government. Stop getting information and working hand in hand with the terrorist government. Stop supporting the terrorist government against stop supporting them in the intimidation of innocent people. The more you do that, the more you become an accomplice. My fellow Biafrans that are watching wherever you are watching from, we are going to hear now a message from our supreme leader, Mazen Nandekano, before we call it a day. As I said before, that we are not going to be keeping long as we do before today because of some certain issues. So let us listen to this message before we call it a day.
I told you that they're going to come. You know, Fulani has this very stupid and senseless pride in them. I know that their pride won't allow them. They must come. And remember, I will keep reminding you of this every blessed day. This Fulani army will die in Biafra land. They want to move them in. Maybe to start there. They are doing their, now is abduction. We are in the season of abduction. Very soon they will try their shoot at sight to see if it will work. But I'm not sure it is going to work for them again, considering that all the entire southern governors have now come together to issue a communique stating it very, very clearly that the way they have been handling things in the past hasn't moved the situation forward. Now what they're trying to do is to try to bring in a new measure. And I want to warn Fulani Janjaweed in Asarok, any measure you bring to our land, we're equal to it. Anything you bring, we are going to face you. You understand that very clearly. Okay? So it doesn't matter what the AIG does, what the IG does, and all these idiots. The more you move men down to the east, the more the north will be taken. But of course, I know it's all the part of the game plan. What they want to do is to emasculate, to intimidate. So we can become wretched, lily-livered cowards. We will now allow you to enter into our land, or send us away from our land. We'll come maybe to IDP camps in Amazonia. But it's not going to happen, and you understand that very well. And as I told you, you will take the bait, you will come. We will lure you into our land, and your army will die there. And the places you left in the north, in Sharia, Core, Arewa North, will be taken over by terrorists and criminals that will never, ever, ever listen to any of you. These are the things you must understand. So we are ready for you. Anytime you want, you can bring the game on. We are waiting for you. But you can never, ever have it easy anymore. All that thing that people come out, you open fire anyhow. You know that if you open fire on the people, you will be confronted there and then immediately. And you are going to die sooner than later. You will also perish. So now you understand. It doesn't matter what you announce or what you're not announcing, but we are assuring you that you are not going to prevail nor succeed in intimidating the children of God into submission. It cannot happen. You can try that nonsense elsewhere. It will work for you. But you see, in the East, it can never ever work. Never ever work. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Because when tyranny, as somebody said, when tyranny becomes a law for the government, massive rebellion becomes a mandate for the people. Because you cannot keep pushing us to the wall all the time, pushing us to the limits, massacring innocent civilians over and over and over again, and you don't expect them to fight back. You must be foolish. I want to remind all the intellectuals and sophisticated morons, all of them, go back a few years ago. The slaughter, the killing of IPOB family members, peaceful protesters, Shia protesters, NSAS. Every time army and police will come, they open fire. None of you will talk. But now in our land, they are always looking behind their backs. They don't know where death is coming from. Because I assure them, they are all going to perish. The people telling you that they have a plan to secure the East, Southeast and South-South, according to them. Armed robbers invaded Asarok. So we are led to believe. Only under this regime, something unheard of in the whole world. It's never been, I don't know where these Nigerians, I don't know who gave them their brain. Maybe it was picked from the dustbin. I have no idea. Some of you may have dismissed this issue of armed robbery in Asarok, but I want you to understand something. It's never happened anywhere before in the history of the world or modern governance. Never ever happened before. They said they ransacked the chief of staff home, Ibrahim Gambari, and Abubakar Maikano, and they stole valuable assets. That is how corrupt the Fulani people are. I told you before that is something the Fulani they have perfected over the years. When they finish draining any particular department of parastatal dry, they set it alight to destroy every incriminating evidence. I am sure that whatever they may have stolen from the homes of Ibrahim Gambari and this Abubakar Maikano could be financial instruments worth billions of dollars belonging to the people. If you ask us, oh, armed robbers came, how can armed robbers, if armed robbers can, or should I say, unknown gunmen enter into Asarok to go and steal state valuables? Now tell me which part of the zoo is safe. They did not sit down to say to themselves, let us look for a way to strategize and devise new security approach to Asarok to guard it. It's Southeast and South-South they're interested in. In the East, Biafra. And newspapers and their editors publish this type of junk every blessed day. And I'm asking them, they have no shame, honestly. Armed robbers came to the seat of government to steal and walked away free. You shamelessly came out to announce that you are devising a new strategy for the East. You have not been able to devise a strategy to keep yourself safe inside Asarok. That is how they reason. It is supposed to be the most secure place in Nigeria. It is now every man for himself. That is why I commend Governor Autumn for what they have done. I will ask the southern governors, when next to your meeting, invite your middle belt counterparts, and you see that the zoo will collapse within 2 weeks. Not just collapse. All those things that you have been asking for, they will give it to you. That is why all of you must come to the fullness, or should I say, to the realization that you must, without fail, keep on doing what you're doing in terms of defending your land. You must defend your land. Look at people suggesting. I mean, can you go to how can I put it, to a gate man in a hospital and ask them to administer any form of treatment because you found them at the gate? Because you found them at the gate of a hospital. These people, they're like gate men in a hospital. You are prescribing a remedy that you cannot even yourself inculcate into the plan to keep your own self safe. You're not safe, but you're busy dishing out directive to go to, we now have a new plan. I'm asking the IG of police, go and secure Asarok first. Go and secure Abuja, where children are no longer going to school. Go and secure Abuja first. Go and recover Medugri. Go and recover parts of Yobe. Go and recover parts of Zamfara from the same terrorists that you groomed before suggesting how peace can be restored in the East. If you want to use it as a cover to bring in your army, they're going to die there anyway. So there's no need. I will not stress myself on this. Bring them now, you're going to see. And I want to warn our Oduduwa brothers, and I made it very clear to the activists last night, that the Fulanis imported a lorry load of arms and ammunition, and the containers were being escorted by the military last night, and they offloaded this very consignment somewhere in Oshodi. But I'll come to that later on. I will give you the full details of exactly what transpired. And that was why Tinubu said that we had planned to bomb Lagos, something that is undoable in a billion years. In a billion years. They think we are very good students of contemporary history. We know the history of the war. I know personally how people from the West viewed the move by Biafran army to go and capture the seat of power or to neutralize them. It wasn't even an army of conquest to conquer Yoruba people, of course not. It was heading straight to Dodan Barracks in those days to go and neutralize them. I know personally how my Yoruba friends have explained to me their trepidation and their fear over that very expedition led by Banjo then. We know. So we cannot try anything stupid. We can never, ever, ever, not on this earth, antagonize our Yoruba brethren. It's impossible. We can never do it. We meet all the time. We have meetings all the time. So how can we? Are you telling me that all those gallant men in OPC, all those gallant men all over Yoruba land, they cannot do any work? If we agree that they should go and start, disturbing those who are disturbing them, they have more than enough men to do it. More than enough to do it. We don't have to go there. But they lied as usual, as they always do. As they always do. As they always do. But in the north, what is happening? Some of you must be aware of what DSS is doing in and around Abuja. And do you also know that DSS, they also get a cut of the ransom? Are you aware of that? Do you know that the DSS or SSS, they should be properly referred to, do you know that they get a share from bandits? So Fulani people are not even happy owning all the oil wells, controlling the Ministry of Finance, controlling Asura, controlling almost everybody, controlling the defense budget. How many of you here are aware that the daughter of Abba Kyari is the one responsible for all Nigeria's investment abroad? It's called sovereign wealth. Investment in stock markets all over the world is the daughter of Abba Kyari. They control everything. Federal inland revenue, every source of finance minister is always Fulani. Even when you plant your joro, or you plant maize, or you plant cabbage or carrot, the same Fulani terrorists will come and destroy it, use it to feed their cattle, and kidnap you in the process. Even that little money you have made by selling maize or yam or cabbage or watermelon, you now use it to pay the same Fulani to release your child, release your father, or release your mother back to you safely. Do you see what is happening? And you'll be astonished. I don't know why the mainstream media in the zoo doesn't want to give this very particular piece of news the coverage that it deserves. How we receive weapons from DSS agents and share the gains by Fulani bandits, Fulani terrorists. DSS that is busy abducting people. Oh, they want us to go into kidnapping and armed robbery as well. That's what they want. So we can start sharing the money. Okay, that's what they're looking for. They are, as I'm speaking, they are now in Aba and everywhere, claiming they are implementing security strategy. But the same DSS, I don't know why their National Assembly, I have no idea why these people should not be investigated, prosecuted, and shut down. DSS. Instead of contributing to making your lives as safe as it can be within the contraption, they are making it worse. I'll read it for you. They told a German television, Deutsche Welle, in a recent report that they borrow money from DSS agents. And who are the people in charge of DSS? Fulani. Who are the people borrowing guns and ammunition from DSS? Fulani terrorists. That is why the South must understand they are all in this whole thing together. They're all in it together. As the security is worsening in Nigeria, armed bandits terrorizing different parts of the country have made a startling revelation to the German, I think it is the flagship media in Germany, Deutsche Welle, that they have been receiving weapons from operatives of DSS. You see their DSS, you see them with their uniform DSS. They are worse than bandits. These are hardened criminals, and none of them are fallen. Very, very sadly. The criminals told Deutsche Welle in a recent report that they borrow weapons from the state agents and then go to work to share the ill-gotten gains together. They go, you pay ransom, they go to school. Now I know the reason why they keep sending that terrorist Sheikh Gumi to go and negotiate. They know where they are. DSS will not go and get them or mount a rescue operation to release those who have been kidnapped. Instead, they are waiting for you to pay the ransom. They will tell Sheikh Gumi, tell them to pay, tell them to pay. It's dicey. Operationally, it's not difficult. The terrain is, there is a valley, there is a hill. Talking rubbish. You give that 100 million naira ransom to the bandits. DSS will collect their own cut. Maybe take their guns or say, oh, boys, well done. In the same one Nigeria. In the same one Nigeria. Now the world knows because Deutsche Welle carried it. That thing we have been saying for years that all the Fulani cabal that are in it together, every Fulani person in any sensible position in government is part of this very grand conspiracy to overwhelm all of you. If you don't submit to their will, willingly, they will use every tactics, including terror, to get it from you. Now, the whole world knows, including the government of the USA, the EU, the UK, Japan, Russia, China, everyone now is fully aware of the fact that Nigerian security forces are the ones fueling insecurity for financial benefits. It is here in the news. Go and Google it. It is very clear. Insecurity, how we receive weapons from DSS agents and share the gains. These are Fulani people, perhaps from Timbuktu, telling Deutsche Welle. And all of you are there shouting one Nigeria, making the Janjaweed feel that you need them, whereas they are the ones that need us to survive. I have asked you this thing before. Go and read the amalgamation document. Lugard made it very, very clear. The reason why we are amalgamating the North and the South is because the North is poor. They have nothing. Till today, they still have nothing. These are the things you must bear in mind. The time we are live and direct for those who are peddling, I will come to that thief, Bola made it Tinubu later on, to those writing junk that Interpol is looking for Nnamdi Kanu. He fled from London. The time now is 7:55, live. Interpol, they know where I am. Everybody knows. If you want to know, you will know. These people are stupid. Cheap gutter propaganda. That was how you managed to put the late dead Buhari in office, by writing junk and lying. You don't know we are IPOB. We are very, very formidable. You don't understand that? We are highly, highly formidable. You must understand it. You must understand it. I don't blame the Fulani Janjaweed. I blame those from the South. Let us believe that after this meeting today, that the Southern leaders, so to speak, or the governors in their various capacities will now have the need to be meeting more regularly to articulate a common position and stand when it comes to the issue of governance within the damnable zoological republic. Because all of you planning to come and conduct security, whatever rubbish in the East, all of you against the agitation to break up Nigeria. I want to also remind all of you that there was a time when the Fulani Janjaweed Caliphate inspired the northern peasants to rebel and revolt against the Nigerian state. They threatened secession. During that very period, the British government did not send their armies to go and kill all of them. Instead, it was Dr. Azikiwe. I don't want to say his first name because I share the same first name with him and it irritates me. It was Dr. Zikiwe that appealed to the Fulani Janjaweed not to secede from Nigeria in 1953. So when you hear a Malam, when you hear Al-Majri writing nonsense on Facebook, I want you to remind him or her, it was you people, the Fulani-controlled northern part of Nigeria, that planned to secede from Nigeria. This is not 1966 coup or anything. Before then, in 1953, the first people to ask to exit Nigeria is the Fulani Caliphate of the North. But today, when you hear them talking, you will think somehow that because then they have not discovered oil. Not at least not in commercial quantity. Now there is oil, there is a commonwealth, there is money. Dollar must flow from oil and gas in the East. Everybody now wants to die for one Nigeria. But it was Zeke's voice. I don't know if it's a very lengthy article. Maybe that's why some of you don't even read it. I think it was published by Guardian newspaper. Zeke's voice that voided planned secession by the North in 1953. It was Dr. Zikiwe that appealed to the North to stay in Nigeria. They never went to war. Britain never deployed troops to say, oh, you want to break our empire, we're going to kill you. Now ask yourself, why is it that the Fulanis are now deploying soldiers to go and kill people who are agitating in the South? Why? When they themselves agitated to leave, nobody killed them. In 1953, when northern Nigeria were beginning to consider secession from the Nigerian colony, that would soon be a nation, Dr. Azikiwe gave a speech before the caucus of his political party, the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, in Yaba, Lagos, Nigeria, on May 12th, 1953. Tomorrow will be the anniversary of this. That speech, while not disallowing secession, suggested that there will be grave consequences if the northern region became independent from the nation that was soon to emerge. Zeke did not threaten anybody. The British people who were in control of the zoo that they themselves created did not send any army to go and quell the secession. That is the reason why they banned history in your schools. That is why some of you do not know history. The first people to attempt secession from Nigeria were the Fulani of Janjaweed in 1953. Who stopped them from seceding? An Igbo man. Very, very sad indeed. You know, somehow, it's either that God wants to destroy us or we want to bring calamity upon ourselves all the time. Can you imagine what the lives of ordinary people would have been like had Zeke not intervened to persuade the northern Fulani Caliphate to remain within one Nigeria? There is something you need to understand very, very clearly. Nnamdi Azikiwe said the North will suffer because the North had nothing. Absolutely nothing. Their so-called granite pyramid were not... It's not a pyramid at all. They built plank scaffolding and piled 2 bags of granite on top of each other to give you the impression that they have granite when they had nothing. Absolutely nothing. Go and check it and do your own research. Zeke was begging them because Zeke himself grew up in the North. Zeke said, I was born and I grew up in Zungeru. Please don't go away. If you go away, you have nothing. You're going to suffer. You're going to be impoverished. And they listened and they remained in one Nigeria. And now the tables have turned. And what are they doing to those who are agitating to leave? The zoo that the Britain created. They are killing them, they are maiming them, they are shooting them aside. Whereas it is these same northerners that first floated the idea of secession. I hope it is becoming very, very clear for everybody. What they have given to us are headsmen, terrorists, rapists, murderers, kidnappers across the entire length and breadth of the zoo called Nigeria. They do not care. And we caused it. It was the fault of an Igbo man. Now I understand why sometimes I will speak or write very angrily about Dr. Azikiwe. Now I understand the reason why. It wasn't his fault after all. Today we are agitating to be free. Today we are fighting to be free in the East and in the West. And what have they done? The APC-led government of Lagos State, in conjunction with the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, having concluded plans to attack some parts of Yoruba land and blame it on IPOB, just to create a discord between the Yoruba nation and the Biafran nation, and to destroy the cordial relationship that these two agitating nations have maintained very lately. They want to destroy it. Tinubu knows that he's not going anywhere. So he has now unleashed his machinery. Everything in his arsenal has now come out to try to fight us, to try to fight me, and to try to fight the children of God. But he's going to fail. I want the world to know tonight that Tinubu will later pay hoodlums, because that's how they behave in Lagos, to attack some parts of that very city, so they can later accuse IPOB of masterminding the attacks. This is what some unscrupulous politicians, very desperate criminals are doing in Nigeria today. I want to ask Tinubu, who is a thief and a criminal, why did you not come to the pages of newspapers and television screen to announce the numerous sackings of Yoruba villages by Fulani Janjaweed, bandits and terrorists? Because there are Yoruba people right now in Benin Republic. Why was there no hoo-ha about Yoruba villages being sacked by Fulani Janjaweed? Why? That tells you all you need to know about these people and their intentions. I want to ask Tinubu, are Yoruba people not refugees in Benin Republic? Who put them in refugee camps in Benin Republic? Are you telling me that Yoruba media is afraid of their Fulani masters, and in their docility, real damage is being done in Yoruba land? You have the courage to link IPOB to whatever nefarious activities that you're planning to unleash in and around Lagos. But people that pursued Yoruba people into Benin Republic, you cannot write about them nor admonish them the way you have tried to do against the squeaky clean image of the indigenous people of Biafra. This is very, very sickening. It is a very desperate and psychopathic attempt by this very thief, this very gluttonous and insatiable criminal that will do anything to appease his Fulani overlords. The same man that introduced ethnicity and tribe into the NSAS protest, along with the same corrupt and satanic Yoruba media. They thought they were going to succeed. They tried it yesterday and it failed. Only one tweet, I tweeted, only one. The whole thing collapsed. And of course, when they were pursuing Yoruba Oduduwa activists, and they asked us to ask them, what do you have to say? IPOB is going to bomb Lagos. What do you have to say? They said it's a lie. Go and ask their journalists. All the people they call, all the heavyweights, frontliners in Yoruba land, they called all of them yesterday to condemn IPOB. They said, no, IPOB cannot do such. Nobody, in fact, from the South can do such a thing. It's impossible. They were disappointed. One tweet would destroy all their lies. That was why they came up with another one today. You know, they think if they keep writing all this junk, somehow they'll demoralize us. We will say, oh, things are no longer going the way that we want it to go.
Thank you so much for listening on this very important message of our Supreme Leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. You know, I've told you that I make it a point of duty to always share his old messages for us to know where we are coming from. Then you can compare it to what is happening today for you to understand the picture of what we are seeing today. Whatever you are seeing today didn't start today. It started a long, long time ago. So when they play that game again, you will just go back to your mind and remember, yes, they did it before and they're going to do it again. It is these messages that help us to dictate what the Nigerian government are about to do. And when they plan their false flag operations, we can be able to dictate it because of these messages that we listen to. If you are a very good student of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whenever you see a false flag operation in Nigeria, you will dictate it without somebody coming to tell you it is. And that is why it is important we always go back to these messages and listen to it. I appreciate everyone that have been part of us on this very program today. I thank you all for being part of the program, and we continue to pray for our Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for him to join us soon, as early as possible. And also, Mazi Simon Ekpa, by next month, we are expecting him to be with us. Any plan they are making against Mazi Simon Ekpa will never stand. Continue to promote the release of Mazi Simon Ekpa on your various platforms. Continue to post his picture in all your platforms. If there is nothing you can do, just post his picture and say, free Mazi Simon Ekpa. Let us make it go viral. Some of us have forgotten that we have a prime minister that has been detained because of us. We have forgotten that it's somebody that took us to this very level where we are today. Some of us have forgotten. Some of us have forgotten. Please, I want you to come back to your senses if you are forgetting that there is somebody that brought us to where we are today, and we must not give up. We must not go back to where we are coming from. I appreciate every one of you that have participated in one way or the other, and I appreciate everyone, and I pray that Chukwu Okike Abiyama will continue to guide us, protect us, and secure us. I also pray for all our leaders, that Chukwu Okike Abiyama will guide and protect our leaders, secure them, give them more wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. No weapon formed or fashioned against us shall prosper. We will continue to do what we have to do. Most importantly, put the issue of Mazi Simon Ekpa on the line. Speak louder than you can ever do. Speak louder than you can ever do, as we expect him to join us by next month. Always make it a point of duty. Every day, post his picture and write, free Mazi Simon Ekpa. Mazi Simon Ekpa did not allow the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be taken down. He did not allow them to bring the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu under disrepute. He did not allow the legacy of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to die, and we will not allow that to happen. We will not allow that to happen. You must not allow that to happen. We must make sure we put him on the front page and continue to ask for his release, because the Finland government have no business holding him because of the information given to them by their terrorist country. Thank you so much for being part of this program. We are going to see again later in the day, by the special grace of God. If I'm very strong, later on I'm going to come back again. Thank you so much, and stay blessed as you join us on this very program. Bye-bye.
Oh.